Hey, want broke world entertainment and some interesting and major news broke yesterday regarding WWE and Netflix. Yeah, you heard that right. The WWE and Netflix, because Netflix have just paid WWE $5 billion for the exclusive rights to Monday Night Raw in the US, Canada, UK and Latin America, with other territories, with additional countries and regions to be added over time. However, it goes a little further than that once we come outside of the US. So let's have a bit of a look. So as I just said, beginning in January 2025, Netflix will be the exclusive new home of Raw in the US, Canada, the UK, Latin America, among other territories, with additional countries and regions to be added over time. Likewise, as part of the agreement, Netflix will also become the home of all WWE shows and specials outside the US as available, inclusive of Raw and WWE's other weekly shows, SmackDown and NXT, as well as the company's premium live events, including WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble. WWE's award-winning documentaries, original series, and forthcoming projects will also be available on Netflix internationally beginning in 2025. And apparently the deal is a 10-year deal. Now, there's some reports saying it's a 5-year with the option to expand to 10 years, but everything I'm seeing simply says the deal is a full 10-year deal, that there's no 5-year and then you can move on if things are going good. Is this a good move for both WWE and Netflix? I have no idea, but it sure as hell is an interesting move. Now, the issue you would have internationally, like myself and viewers in the UK and whatnot, is WWE is now exclusive on TNT, what was previously BT Sports. It, of course, for decades was exclusive to Sky Sports, but they gave it to BT Sports, which was then owned by Sky Sports. Sky bought BT, and now recently they've changed their name to TNT Sports. But that's where the home of WWE is. So by the sounds of things and the looks of things, that means that that deal is now pretty much null and void. When it comes to signing the deals with those companies, I do believe they were 5-year deals. So when it came to your normal standard satellite channels or cables or whatnot, I believe it was 5 years. But now you're asking your fans to subscribe to Netflix. If people aren't subscribed to Netflix but they have sports channels this side of the world, now they're being told, oh, now you're paying for your sports channel as well as your normal Sky channels. Now you're going to have to pay for Netflix if you want to continue to watch the wrestling. And what I'm curious about now as well is, how will big pay-per-views work? Are you going to have to fork out more money for that? Because that's the thing, the pay-per-views used to be free. They used to be on Sunday nights on Sky Sports live. Then a year came around where they charged you for WrestleMania, and it seemed to be a one-off. The following year they charged you for WrestleMania, but then they seemed to charge you for the Royal Rumble as well, and it was starting to get a bit strange. And then all of a sudden every pay-per-view moved to box office, Sky box office. And since it moved to what was BT Sports and now TNT Sports, the price doubled. It went up hugely for those pay-per-views. Now, if you're already paying for your monthly subscription to Netflix, are you still going to have to fork out that money to watch those pay-per-views? Because from what I understand, when you had the WWE network, there was no additional cost for the pay-per-views. I could be very wrong about that, but as far as I'm aware, the offer for the paper or the service was that you were getting and saving something like $50 or something a month from not having to pay extra for the pay-per-views. In terms of it being on Netflix, will they be charging you for pay-per-views, or will it just be a standard, here you go, there it is, you're already paying for your subscription, so here you go? Which I think would be a bit fairer, to be honest. Clearly the WWE network failed, so that's gone by the looks of it. The bigger question then is regarding Netflix, because number one, Netflix don't do sports, so this is their first venture into not just sports but live sports. And how are they going to actually handle live broadcastings? You know, they've never done that. So how are they going to cope with that, and how are they actually going to implement that? They're a streaming service for, here's a movie we made 2 years ago, here you go. Here's movies and TV shows we bought 5 years ago, here you go. Now they're saying, well, every Monday night and Friday night, here's Raw live, here's SmackDown live. Come the pay-per-views, they're going to have to say, here's the pay-per-view live. And if they run into any of the problems that Peacock ran into, I believe it's Peacock that had some of the rights for the pay-per-views, that was apparently a disaster, that people were forking out like $50, if not more, for the pay-per-views on Peacock, and the service didn't work. They were like, I've paid all this money and nothing's on my screen. You know, if Netflix runs into that type of problem, there is going to be huge backlash, especially when you've taken it now off actual dedicated live sports broadcasting channels. It's going to be incredibly interesting to see how this works. Will it work? That's the bigger question. Will it work? Will this just alienate the wrestling fans? Will WWE viewers turn around now and say, like, oh no, nuts to this, I'm not paying for another streaming service to watch this when I was paying for these sports channels to be able to watch this? Now I know it's sports channels for us over here. I believe it's on the USA network. It's Raw anyway is on the USA network in the States. I'm not sure what SmackDown is on in the States. Is it Peacock? Maybe. But it's definitely going to be one to keep our eyes on. Now, of course, they're probably going to do some trial runs where they don't actually stream it out live to people, but do test runs to actually see the viability of them being able to send out a live stream. But it's an incredibly interesting deal, and WWE were looking for a new home just for Raw. They were never talking about the other stuff, but they were looking for Raw specifically. And now that Netflix has stepped in, because there was rumors that Amazon were looking to take it, as were FX and a few others. I even heard Apple being floated about. $5 billion for the rights of WWE. It's gonna be interesting. And of course, WWE is just merged with the UFC and have this new TKO. And what will happen with the UFC then regarding Netflix? Is Netflix gonna all of a sudden become the home of UFC? It's gonna be very interesting. It could come around and bite both companies in the ass big time, or it could end up being a massive success. But you are taking it away from other networks, from, you know, quick and easy accessibility to people who don't have these type of services, that you are now going to say, well, now you're going to have to get one of these services. And the other thing as well is, I think this kind of cements that Netflix truly has won the streaming wars. If they are now going, now we have the WWE content, we're going to start streaming live sports. What other sports are they all of a sudden going to go for? Especially if it works in their favour. Strange and interesting times. But with that, I will leave it there for this one. So cheers. I'll catch you in the next one.